Patrick Reed fires a 666, leading by 2 over Mark Leishman at the Augusta National Golf Club. Some wet conditions today. Henrik Stenson alone in third, 4 shots back. 1 shot ahead of first-round leader Jordan Spieth, who struggled with a 2 over par 74. World number 1, Dustin Johnson, tied with Justin Thomas at 3 under par. Tiger Woods struggled, but he did make the cut despite a 3 over par 75. He is just 13 shots back. Pistons winners with 24 points from Reggie Jackson. They beat the Mavericks in overtime 113-106 at the LCA. We have Tiger baseball today right here on 97.1 The Ticket. Tigers in Chicago against the White Sox. 2:10 the first pitch. Michael Fulmer pitching for Detroit, looking for their second straight win. And the Red Wings are home on ice tonight. Home ice tonight at the LCA against the Islanders, 7 p.m. right here on 97.1 The Ticket. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 9701theticket.com.
The following is a paid program. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Entercom Radio, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. We've got an awesome panel this afternoon. Of course, we've got John Kolb across the way.
How's it going, guys?
Harry Glan's always to my right.
Morning, my man.
Hey, good morning. Hey, we brought Kevin Stewart in. Kevin Stewart, you're awesome. And Jessica Zilke from the Stewart Team Real Estate Partners.
What's up, guys? Kevin and Jessica are radio professionals. We love having them on the show. They're easy to talk to. They can articulate very well, something I can't do. And you guys are great. What's going on in the market, guys?
What isn't going on in the market? Shocker, no inventory. How many times have we said that in the last 2 years? Seems like every time we turn around, that's the entire conversation.
It's definitely heating up out there. Spring has, well, this year it didn't seem like we ever stopped home buying season, but spring's here, even though the weather doesn't feel like it's sunny day to day, but hard to get those listings for sure. And then your buyers are out there, Kev. As you said, there's just a lack of inventory. Your buyers out there, it can take up to 3 or 4 months maybe to land a home is what they're saying.
Yeah, and one of the problems we're having is everyone seems like they're kind of sitting and waiting, meaning that we have qualified sellers that would like to sell their home, but they're terrified of the fact that they don't think they can buy a home. And so they're sitting waiting to see the type of inventory that they would like to buy come on the market before they make the decision to put their home on the market.
So that's a great thing. That begs this question. And I've had this situation happen to us at least, I don't know, half a dozen times in the last 2 weeks. So how do you advise your client that wants to sell their house, and they say, but I'm not going to put it on the market because I can't find a place to live? My suggestion would be is you take a look at the market conditions. It's a seller's market. Sellers are going to get top dollar. Would you guys agree with that?
Absolutely.
So then if you can do this, everybody says, well, I don't want to move twice. In other words, Kevin and Jessica, you sell my house, where am I going to go? What's wrong with selling your price theoretically at top dollar and then moving into an apartment or a rental, some type of rental property, if you can, if it's not too inconvenient? It's never going to be convenient. It's never going to be the ideal situation other than the fact that, guess what? You can sell your property at top dollar. So why wouldn't you? I'm going to tell you this. I did it a long time ago. I did it 26 years ago. All right. I had a 6-month-old child at the time. And you know what? I sold my first house for, at the high in the market. We waited till it was a great time. And 4 or 5 months later, we found a house. We took our time trying to find a house. Realtors like you were very patient with us. What's wrong with doing it that way?
I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that way. When we sit down and we do our consultation with a client, which is a key piece to that, is we talk through that. We talk through the different scenarios and the different opportunities that they could do. And one of those is, what's your backup plan? What's your just in case? So can we make a single move? That's what we would like to do. That's always the goal. We'll build an occupancy, build in things like that to try and get the property. But if not, what we don't want is them to have to make a move and buy a home that they don't really love. I'd rather have a contingency plan built in that says, okay, let's still be in the driver's seat. Let's be in the driver's seat as a buyer and a seller. And let's have a place that we know we can go. We can set our stuff, whether it's couch surfing with a family member or it's moving into a temporary housing situation that may be furnished.
Right.
You put all your stuff in storage and then we have it delivered to your new home. I mean, those are things that we can do as long as we have a plan.
Yeah, so for most people, the most important part of the transaction is selling your existing property because most people can't qualify with 2 mortgage payments.
Right, but are there those temporary housing places out there that aren't going to make you sign a lease for a full year?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of rentals nowadays, apartments, houses, are going for long-term leases because they know they can get them.
At almost any point, we have a place that we know of that can offer a short-term month by month. There's a couple apartment complexes around us that we know offer month-to-month products. They're not cheap. It's not going to be the cheapest place you live. So you have to curb your enthusiasm on the cost. But in the overall grand scheme of life and the grand scheme of the real estate purchase, it's still a better way to go than overpaying for a product that you
don't like.
Right.
Yeah, you feel pressure on that. Right.
Plus, you'll have a peace of mind knowing that your house is sold. I like that idea. Plus,
part of your marketing plan, Kev.
Absolutely.
Always having somewhere to go when they need to.
Well, and Kevin and Jessica are going to know their area, and they're going to know those places where people can go month to month. But I believe that. I believe you should not be pressured into buying something. If you own a house, the toughest part is selling your house. People say, well, here, but the market's hot. We're going to sell our house in 2 weeks. We're going to put a sign up in front of it, and it's going to sell. Yeah, I get it, but then where are you going to go?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so sell the house. You know the area that you want to move in. You've been driving. You've been taking people out. They're going on the internet. They're doing whatever. People know people think they know where they want to go, right? Okay, so that idea is in their head. But selling the house is very important because you need those funds in order to move into that next property.
And we've had, even with John, we've had conversations with him where it's okay if what can we do strategically financially? Is there a position where they can purchase before they sell, so that if they need to, if we know their house is going to sell and it's going to sell within 2, 3, 4 days, we're going to get top dollar. All those things are going to happen if they're in the right spot and right location. Those are possibilities, but again, that comes down to a good strategic plan, because most people can't do that, and a lot of people that can shouldn't.
Right.
So it's not always a great idea, but those are options as well if you've got a great lender.
All right, I like where the conversation's going this morning. You're listening to the Hardcore Mortgage Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE. Get that approval letter if you haven't refinanced or consolidated your debt. 1-800-569-7283. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Always live here in the studio at 248-539-9797. 1 hour of the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Kevin and Jess, one other thing I think that sort of leads into this conversation, too, is it's this time of year where 60 days from now takes you to where the kids are out of school. And so you can sign a purchase agreement, accept the offer. You can put a closing date on there towards the end of June, and then even allow yourself an additional 30, even 60 days. Gets a little long in the tooth. Of course, those buyers want to get in there, but definitely after 30 days after closing, you're out there. You've got your house sold, a peace of mind. And like you said, now you can move forward and become a little bit more aggressive on your approach to purchasing. Mm-hmm. So it's always a great plan out there. Again, consult with these professionals. That's the key to home ownership. And, of course, always get that approval letter. There's no doubt that home buyers have been busting their budgets trying to snag one of these great houses. A third of the people out there buying in last year's stats actually overspent over their budget. So, hey, if you're going to spend a little bit more to get the house that you're going to live in for a long time, why not take a look and move forward with it, especially still with all-time low interest rates.
Kevin and Jess, I will tell you this, that I believe that most sellers don't want to move out right away now. They want to stay in the house, so a longer occupancy might be better for somebody that doesn't have a place to go to. And the buyer that found that house, they might be just happy to have the house all tied up. The seller's going to pay the rent for, as Harvey said, 30 to 60 days. Then they can take their time looking for another house also. So there's all types of plans you could have. You could say a house is going to sell right away and you're going to find a new house. Things don't generally work out as smoothly as that. The most important part of the transaction to me is how you put it together for the seller of the house and for the buyer. When is the buyer going to want to take occupancy? Now, buyer might want immediate occupancy, but in order to get that house, they might have to have that seller stay there for 30 days.
But I was going to say that's why we want options. Because when we have options and when we have a plan that has an A, B, C, D, E option for how we're going to do this, it allows us to go forward in different ways. Because depending on if they find a home and, they want 60 days of post-closing occupancy, okay, that's great. Now we can do this. But if, there's a lot of different things and a lot of curveballs that can get thrown at us in this industry. We all know that. Everybody at this table knows that curveballs come all the time. So the better plan that we have and the more options inside that plan that we can take allows us to reroute the way we're going to do our transactions, still knowing that it's for the best of the client. Because ultimately it's about what's best for them and what they need in order to have the most stress-free transaction possible and to move them cleanly for their family.
Right. Every seller's motivation's a little bit different and their time frames are a little bit different. There's a lot to learn when you're purchasing a house. And Jess and I were actually talking this morning is on these first-time home buyers. They're having trouble out there. There's besides the inventory issues, the sellers aren't willing to pay for first-time home buyers sellers concessions like they were in the past. So a lot of our FHA buyers buyers at 3.5% down, or
They
even
don't need to.
conventional buyers looking to purchase homes, they need to save their money. So we'll talk a little bit later this morning here about saving money and a plan to save some money for your down payment. There are different components of a home ownership. If you get your down payment, your closing costs, your escrow account, that's the kind of stuff you need to learn about. And the more knowledge you have behind you is going to set yourself up for success. 248-539-9797. We want to take all your calls here live. Of course, it's nice to have Kevin Stewart and the Stewart team in the office here in our studio here talking about home buying, a real touch of what's going on in the area. Of course, Kev, your office is out in the Rochester area. You work all the Tri-County, but I know your area is very, very impressive now. Many new constructions also in your neighborhood, so we're starting to see some of the buyers have those opportunities. If you want to talk about new construction real quick.
Yeah, we have a lot of new construction around us. You have to know what you're getting into in new construction. It's not as simple as just looking at the price tag that's being offered out. There's a lot more that goes into building a home that people need to be aware of. So again, a good consultation, a good sit down with a professional to talk about the difference between building a home and buying a pre-existing home is very, very important to do. But we have a ton. New construction is at an all-time high. I truly believe, in my opinion, new construction is a little bit overpriced because skilled trades is extremely high. Every builder I talk to, it's not because they're raking in the profits. That's not the case. What you need to understand is that prices are high because the skilled trades are at a huge demand.
Yeah.
I mean, that it costs these builders a ton of money to get their skilled tradesmen. So
But that's a great point.
Just be aware of what you're getting into, but what better way to find inventory than make inventory?
Yeah, it's two great points there. Hey, we're up against a quick break. When we come back, we'll go to all your calls. 248-539-9797. Keep it here.
Stay with me.
The Ticket.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All right, welcome back to the show. 9:19 if you're just joining us. Pretty day out there. Happy St. Patty's Day if you're just tuning in. It's going to get up to about, what do they say, about 45 degrees today in sunny.
40-something. It's got 40-something.
Barnes in the studio today.
This is a great day, though, to get out there and look for a house. If you don't have crazy plans, or maybe they're going to kick in a little bit later with the Michigan State game, get out there and call your real estate agent. Get that approval letter from Capital Mortgage Funding. That's right. We're there all day today at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage bank. You're going to save a lot of money. Get a real strong approval letter that's recognized by all the local agents here in the area, and that way they'll know that. And it's good, a sense of confidence that they're going to be able to present the offer knowing that they have a local lender and things will go really smooth for you. That's the key. As we were talking this morning, there's a lot of opportunity out there with the built-in equity. Definitely great times to still refinance your house. Derek, we've seen so many, again, you guys are always all busy in the office, refinancing our clients out of those 30-year mortgages. We've seen so many families drop to the 15-year. And even, I did some calculations the other day. I gave a client a 25-year and moved him forward. Just bought the house a couple of years ago. Yeah. And I showed him a quick figure, an amortization chart. If he was able to send an extra $150 a month on his loan amount, he was going to pay off the house in 14 years. So again,
totally cuts their term down.
Even if you take
one extra payment
a year, or again, feel yourself. If you're already maxing out your 401k, do you want to put that money?
Feel yourself.
Well, you got to sit down. You got to feel it out with your financial advisor.
What do they say on a 30-year? If you make one extra payment per year,
6.5, 7 years.
Yeah, it turns into a 23-year loan at that point.
Right. Great opportunities out there always to save money.
Follow The Ticket on Facebook and Twitter at 971theticket.com.
Good morning. Welcome back to our show. It's 9:18. If you're just joining, it's a Hardcore Mortgage Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Give us a call, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Ronnie J, the entire staff, they're all there today. Again, you got to get that real approval letter. Actually, a question came up to me earlier this week is sort of talking about the differences of pre-qualification, pre-approval, approval letter. And Kevin, one of the things we always do at our office is we take it all the way through because in today's competitive market, your offer has to stand out in front of everyone else's. Pre-approval means you haven't even gone that far yet. You need to have that strong approval letter, and you know the difference of that. It's just the big difference. Also, we're calling the listing agents and telling them not only have we've run the file all the way through the system, they have the funds to close, and they're ready to do something within 30 days.
Mm-hmm. Let me touch on that. So this is interesting. This is a hot button social media topic.
Jessica's laughing.
And Jessica's laughing.
What happened? Just got really excited. Kevin just got really excited.
So this was a hot button topic recently. Somebody posted about the fact that they do that. They make a call as a loan officer out. They make a call out to the listing agent and say, "Hey, this buyer's not pre-approved. I mean, they're not pre-qualified. They're pre-approved. I've met with them. I've talked with them. I've pulled their credit. We've pre-underwritten them." And he goes, "This is part of my process."
Yeah.
There was it seemed like 200 comments below.
What did they say?
There was agents coming on saying that was, stop trying to do our job. Stop trying to butt in where you shouldn't.
Huh?
And I, yeah, exactly. And I kind of stayed out of the conversation because I didn't want to go too hard on it. But I'll say it here on the radio for everybody to hear. I think if you're doing that as a lender, that is huge for getting your client's offer accepted.
Well, that is a lender's job. What we do, and the difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval letter is in a pre-approval letter, we take clients' tax returns, pay stubs, we run their credit, we run it through our automated underwriting system, and we have why do we call it a pre-approval? Because an approval comes when you find a property. Okay, and then you re-verify everything that the client gave you. So a pre-approval is that step where we run everything through and we get the client they are approved. That's what we have. Now you go ahead. That's our job. We're in our lane. We stay in our lane. You've heard that phrase before. We stay in our lane, and then we call you up. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Jessica. Guess what? The clients you're working with, we've run all their financials. I have their tax returns. I'm looking at them right now. We ran it through our automated underwriting system, and they're good to go. So go take them and find them a property.
And I think
so. How is that? Explain to me how that's a problem.
That's the thing is that's why the whole conversation baffled me. And I think that their point that they were making is, just do your job, get the loan for us. I look at that, and this was somebody that I could clearly tell works with mostly buyers. They don't work with a lot of sellers. What I wanted to interject in and say is I work with 99% sellers myself. I work with all of our sellers. So I see the competitive nature of this all the time. I'm sitting meeting with sellers with 9 offers in front of me saying, "Hey guys, this is what we have to deal with." When I can put one to the top of the stack and say, "Look, this lender called me. I am confident. I'm fully confident that this lender is going to get this deal done," that immediately puts them to the top of the stack and gets their offer truly considered. I think it's absolutely staying in your lane. But some of these realtors, it was a big controversy.
Isn't it a two-way street? If we issue a letter and you see John Kolb, Harvey Freed, Harry Glench, whomever's name on that pre-approval letter, shouldn't then that agent call John Kolb up and say, "Hey, John, I've got a letter in front of me. Tell me about the borrower." John's going to say, "I can't tell you intimate details, financial details, but I can tell you this. Previous client, I've run the credit, so on and so forth. This is a top-notch buyer." That's what we say.
And that's what this agent was saying. This agent was saying, "Oh, well, if we want you, we'll call you."
No, it's both.
And I'm sitting here saying, no, I don't. Want to know what? When I have 8 offers on my plate, am I going to call them? Yes. But am I going to start with eliminating a couple, doing some of that? Yeah, probably. I'm going to go through and do what's best for my client. But if somebody picks up the phone and is proactive towards me, all that does is immediately tell me this is going to be a smoother transaction because this loan officer is on top of it for their client and for their buyer. So to me, that just shows an extra step of service that I can tell you as a listing agent, I massively appreciate.
But you like that. That's your kind of thing.
I love it. Yeah,
Good.
I just think it's good. I think what you guys are doing there, I think that conversation of what you're doing, I think is great customer service, and I think is a way to differentiate your buyer's offer in the situation.
So for almost 20 years on the air with these guys and 30 years in the business, we want you to sell houses, list and sell houses. And you know what we want to do? We just want to do loans. So if you'll let us do our job, we're certainly going to let you do your job. We don't tell people, hey, listen, don't go with that realtor, go with a different realtor, okay, which comes out of the real estate community. Hey, don't go with that lender, go with that lender. I mean, I got news for you. Just stay in your lane. And people are going to grill me on that, but I love it. We do our job. We do it very well. You do your job. You do it very well. Let's work together as opposed to being in conflict.
It doesn't have to be an adversarial
relationship, right?
Work together.
Not. And when we do work together, it's amazing what actually happens. It's shocking what happens when you have realtors and lenders that can work together inside the space to take care of the client, because all of it comes down to what does the client need and want. And when we work together as a team, they are going to win. The industry is going to win, and the community is going to win for that.
All right, so Kevin, I have to ask you the next question. Harvey and John know it's coming. It only took us, 17 minutes? 23 minutes to ask this question. So when you have a situation when you're selling a home and the appraisal comes in low, what do you do?
When the appraisal comes in
comes in low, what do you do?
There's a lot of things we have to do. I mean, it's a tough scenario, but we present it to our clients in a couple ways. First thing we're going to do is we want to take a look at the appraisal. I want to take a look and make sure that the appraisal was done well. Were there any mistakes? Every once in a blue moon, we see a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
So we just want to do a quick check and reference for our client. Mm-hmm. After that, then we're going to talk to the loan officer. We're not going to call and yell. We're not going to call and scream. We're not going to call and say names. But what we want to do is have an open conversation. Is there something that can be done? What's the situation of the buyer? What are they able to do? And then it's a simple conversation with our client. I'm not going to make the assumption on what they want us to do, but I'm going to provide them the scenarios. These are the 4 things that can happen.
Right.
You know, is the seller coming down? Is the buyer going up with cash?
Right. Are you providing us more comps? Maybe the appraiser missed some comps, and you guys can provide us some comparables in the area that appraiser missed.
Well, that comes down to the initial review.
Yeah, right. And that's what we do is when we get that appraisal back, we call our client and say, hey, here is what the appraisal came in at. What would you like to do? Mm-hmm. I mean, in my opinion, there's a contract out there, and there's a contract for a price 2 people agreed on or 2 parties agreed upon. And if you can meet that price, let's meet that price. Right. So you talk to the client, you call the agents, give them the heads up and say, look, the client is willing to see if this appraisal can be worked. Can you provide us with other information to try to go back and rebut the appraisal? We have a great rebuttal process. Is it successful 100% of the time? Absolutely not. No. But at least we're putting our best foot forward to make the transaction work so that both buyer and seller know that everybody is going towards that same common goal.
Yeah, and Kevin and Jessica, if you could provide us comparables in that neighborhood that maybe that appraiser missed, that'll go a long way too. But let's just say there's nothing out there. Let's just say we're coming out of the winter. Houses now in the spring are going to sell for a little bit more. It's starting to get nice out, Jessica, maybe. It's 28 degrees out. But maybe somebody is going to pay $10,000 over the current market. And over a 20, 30-year period of time, that's not a bad decision if you love the house and love the area. But let's say there are no sales. Let's say the house came in at $220 and you sold it for $230. All right, well, then maybe there's a deal to be made, but there might not be the comparables. But it goes back to what you said. We have to work together. Mm-hmm. The answer to the question, which is good, that you did not say is, call another lender, get another appraisal.
All right.
That works so well.
All right, we got tons to share with you here. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. All of your calls, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
There you go.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All right, welcome back to the show, 9:33. If you're just joining us, a pretty day outside and a happy St. Paddy's Day to everyone. A little March Madness in there. Of course, we're going to have sports here on 97.1 The Ticket all day long. Keep it here for all your basketball updates and what's going on. Little rumor last night that number 1 seed got knocked off by a 16th. They'll be talking about that all day. So
there's a few busted brackets right now.
Oh, yeah. Pretty exciting stuff.
My ex-wife went there, so I really don't care if they lost.
It's a lot of fun.
Retrievers.
Hey, a few tips definitely out there for buyers. You're putting together your team, your professional real estate agent, your lender. And again, you get a lot of referrals when you're working with, whether it's your mortgage person might want to refer you to his team, or your real estate agent might want to refer you to his team. But again, understand that you have choices out there, and you can find out the different ways that people go about their business. And I've met several real estate agents that are extremely successful, and they do things just a little bit differently, and it works. And at the end of the day, you just have to have your needs met. It's so much fun to buy a house. I think some of the times we see a lot of that. And Ryan, if you want to mention that, sometimes it seems like the fun is out of the picture. And I think it should be fun. I mean, you're spending 6 digits or more. And again, you're going to put a roof over your head for your family to enjoy. You should enjoy the experience.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's really important that one of these biggest decisions in your life can go well. We've all heard horror stories about how home buying and home selling can go awry, but I think all in all, it's
if you have the wrong people, yeah.
I think it can be a really rewarding experience, and I think a lot of people are, it means a lot to them. You talk to a lot.
You're
of
making
people.
a big lifetime decision here. I don't get how anybody would work with somebody that they did not want to, that they didn't click with at that point. This is something that should be fun. It should always be fun to look into real estate, look into, investing your money in the right smart way, or just like setting up yourself or your family for the long haul.
Yeah.
So I think stability is one of those things. I think, equity, appreciation, the tax benefits, you can deduct your mortgage interest, you can deduct your property taxes, and some of the costs associated with a home. So there's definitely a financially savvy side, owning your first home, leveraging that asset in later years, and you can really build wealth with homes.
Yeah, there's no doubt. 248-539-9797. Ryan, we talked about that early in the week, that homeowners are definitely more successful. The stats are showing that. They have larger retirement funds. It's just they have a plan and a path. And welcome back to the show, 931. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. That's where you want to call and get a real approval letter, the approval letter that'll get your offer accepted. That's right, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. If you haven't refinanced, boy, John Colbar, these interest rates, it's still at all-time lows, and so many opportunities out there for families to consolidate their debt. Again, all-time highs when it comes to equity, billions of dollars across the United States. Now's still that opportunity, and if you have maybe an interest rate that you haven't refinanced yet, just by knocking down the term and consolidating debt, you could save hundreds and hundreds of dollars and really set yourself up for success moving forward. And we see so many also, John, families getting rid of the mortgage insurance, getting rid of PMI and MIP.
Oh, yeah. I can even just talk from a personal experience. We just, after being in a loan for so many years, going from a 30-year to a 15-year, and with how good the rates are, it only increased my payment by $100 a month.
Favorite product.
Right.
Good job.
And now you're going to, I shaved 8 years off the loan. The payment only went up $100, and I'm going to pay it off sooner. Oh, all day long. Yeah.
So you saved hundreds of thousands of dollars doing that.
Yes.
In that 8 year
with
period of
Capital
time.
Mortgage Funding.
Oh,
You
well,
did your
no,
own there.
I'm just saying, financially, it's a good move. You can go from a 30 to a 15 if you know you're going to be in the house. You know you're going to make that payment. You build the equity quicker. You're going to pay off the loan quicker. And people, you have to understand, when you take a mortgage out, the object is to pay it off.
Absolutely.
Right? Probably the worst mortgage guy in the world. I want everybody to have 0 mortgages. Pay off your loan.
Yep.
Okay?
I agree.
And
we'll find another business if everyone pays it off.
But people, people's behavioral pattern, Harvey, that's never going to happen.
Let's just sit here. It's sort of a reminder of what went on. And, of course, you guys remember, Kevin, not too long ago, of course, in our industry, 2007, 8, and 9, there was a big-time recession. Families were getting really just debt-heavy. It became a thing where they had equity in the early 2000s. They were coming and getting cash-out refinances. Probably pretty much the reason why appraisers are a little bit more on the conservative side. People were pointing at appraisers back then, saying, well, you over-appraised my house, and I took this money out. Well, the truth is, you did take the money, you were consolidating debt. It's sort of a little heads up, though, for families out there, just to do the right thing, consolidate their debt now. Don't become too debt heavy, because you never know. A little bit of a turn in the market. We saw it in the stock market even. Just be conservative with your approach to home ownership. The key is obviously to have a nice roof over your head and have some shelter.
I mean, how long is it going to take you to pay off $50,000 in credit card debt? You could turn around and put a $50,000 mortgage on a free and clear home and have it paid off in 5 years.
Right. At a lower payment that you're paying now.
At a lower payment than you're paying right now. And then it becomes tax, interest is tax deductible.
Uncle Sam's your partner on home mortgage interest, certainly not on credit card debt. We're also seeing a lot of people taking cash out for home improvements.
Oh.
They're improving the property that they live in. It's a lifestyle situation. They want to add a dormer, they want to add a little onto their basement, whatever they want to do, but it's a quality of life issue. We talk about it all the time. On an appraisal, if I want to build a man cave, it might not show up in my appraisal. However, if I improve the kitchen, my bathrooms, I add on square footage to the house, that's definitely going to improve my appraisal. So there are certain things you can do to the house that are going to improve value. Everything that you do to your house does not mean you're going to get it back dollar for dollar when you sell the house. Kevin, you can speak to that. I mean, people automatically think that, they put in the nice landscaping, they put in the brick pavers. I spent $20,000 doing that. My house, Kevin, you have to sell my house for $20,000 more. No, it doesn't work that way. Does it make it look nicer? Yes. Did you do it for yourself? Yes. You didn't do it necessarily to sell the house.
Yeah, and what we have to do is, if you're going to make those decisions and you're going to start doing those things to your house, you need to have a valuation. We just met with a client last week that this exact conversation came up. They were talking about making some very major home improvements, some very large things to their home. And I said, guys, hold on, let's take a quick time out here. Number one, do you want to be in this house for the next 10 to 15 years?
Right.
They said, no, I don't think we really do. I said, okay, well, let's take a look at the value then. I did an analysis, the difference between in their neighborhood for that style of home, the difference between their home as is and their home with all the improvements they were thinking about doing was $20,000. So I said, that's going to cost you probably 40 or 50. I said, that's not a good investment. Let's sell this house and let's buy a home that is perfect for you,
right.
And then you can put the money into that house so you can enjoy it and live in it. So it comes down to the math equation of what should you do and what shouldn't you do, and what's your overall long-term goal as a homeowner if you're going to make those improvements.
Yeah, that's a great point. All right, we're going to take your calls all morning long here, 248-539-9797. Joel, you're calling in from Wall Lake. Good morning. Welcome to our show.
How you doing?
Real good. What's happening?
I just moved in like a month ago into a mobile home. I didn't want to rent an apartment. Anyways, I pay $285 a month, and my interest rate is 9.37. And I didn't know if I was able to already find, like a better interest rate or a better,
Yeah, you're gonna.
payment.
Yeah. Who did you take the loan out with? Who's your servicer on that loan?
I believe it's 21st Mortgage.
Who is it?
Maybe 21st Century Mortgage.
I would tell you this: you should call them and see if they can get you a lower rate.
Okay.
That nine is a little bit high. I think you should call them. Start with your servicer, and we could provide you some information if you want to go ahead and do that. There are places that will refinance mobile homes. I think you start with your servicer, give them a call, and see if they'll lower that rate.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know it's kind of hard to find places that actually mortgage mobile homes and stuff like that.
Well, it's a specialty.
It's a different product.
Yeah, it's a different product. It's a specialty. They've got different guidelines, but I would start with them, and whoever the relationship was with, you should start with that person, and big believer in relationships, and let them take care of it. And we'll certainly follow up with you and we'll make some calls for you too.
All right, thanks for the call, Joe. We appreciate that. Again, 248-539-9797. We talk about ways to purchase a house. One of the hurdles for younger buyers out there, and a lot, even if you're not young, you might be just a first-time home buyer, is coming up with the down payment money. So a couple of things we want to maybe remind you of. Of course, if you're getting a tax return, those taxes are due. I think it's coming up another week or so from today.
April 17th.
So there you go. Right around the corner. If you haven't filed your tax returns, you might be getting a couple $1,000s back. That at least gets you moving towards the right direction. Sit down with qualified mortgage professionals and find out. We have MSHDA program at our office through the Michigan State Housing Development Authority. Of course, you can get up to $7,500 if you qualify for that program to use for the purchase of a house. So that's a great option for families out there. And then borrowing against your 401k and you're paying yourself back, it's home ownership. If you've got a 401k, there's nothing wrong with using those funds to help purchase a house again. And then there's always gift funds that are available. So lots of opportunities out there for families.
You know, objectively speaking, I would really take a look at that. I'm not recommending people borrow against their 401k. There are a lot of howevers to that. It can be an avenue, but I don't know that I'm a strong advocate of that, but it's all depending on your situation. I know John feels the same way I do. You know, you say you should always save first. I believe in a 401k. Take the money out of your paycheck. It's tax deferred, and it comes out, in the long run. John's been in our 401k program now for 21 years, and people that have saved consistently and saved for themselves, that's the way to go. I don't know, however, if I would recommend it. I think it's up to everybody individually, but it's not a bad thing to look at.
No, you're paying yourself. You can, again, pay yourself back into your 401k.
Right.
So it's a way.
No, I agree. I'm not saying it's bad for everybody. Might be good for some people.
There you go.
But I want everybody to know how objective we are.
Kevin Stewart, one of the things that's also coming up is this lack of inventory. You know, we've been talking about it now for a couple of years, but one of the things too, we're starting to hear, and we saw a couple articles about it, is the trust that you have and the communication you've had with your buyers when you're working with professional real estate agents and teams like you guys, they're just putting offers in sight unseen. They already know what they're looking for. They've got their needs list. There's the minimal of homes out there. They're just putting offer in as soon as the home goes on the market. Could you comment on that a little bit and tell me if you see that could be a position at least to get your offer accepted and out in front of everyone else?
Can't stand it.
Interesting.
That's my opinion on it. I don't like it only because what it does potentially for a seller is now they take your offer because it's high and it's awesome, and then you walk into the house and then you say, oh, no, I don't really want it. So that potentially can put the seller in a really bad bind. And so I'm a true believer in, we have to also do what's right by everybody and not intentionally do something that's going to hurt our fellow man. I inherently believe in that. And so, that's where I have a difficult time in that. Now, it depends. If let's say you're an investor and you're looking at investment properties. Okay, now that's a situation where maybe that's a good idea. So there's situations where I think that could be used. But, Jessica can speak to this. I mean, you've had situations where you've had buyers that have said, let's just put an offer in sight unseen. And has it ever really gone well?
No, never.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, never.
All right.
So what we do try to do is get a little bit creative. So trying to get the client and do some FaceTime or get a family member out to the property or things of that nature.
Right,
so
definitely make the time to get out and view these homes.
Absolutely, because you can see it, but you really you can't feel the textures or the textiles or the upgrades that are in the property. And truthfully, you can't get a layout. So again, like Kevin was saying, if it's an investment, that's a little bit different.
Right.
That does get you ahead, but if it's a primary, if this is going to be where you're living, that's a tough.
Yeah, so take it to the next step for me. Would you ever recommend any of your clients not getting a home inspection?
I have only recommended it once, but I always recommend it, even if we know that it's a brand new home. You're still going to find stuff in a brand new home.
Right. Yep, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Every time.
All right, let's move off to a call here. We got Ryan calling in from Livonia. Ryan, you got a house to sell. That's what we want to hear. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Real good. What's up?
How you doing, Ryan?
Good. I just had a couple questions. I might have a tricky scenario for you. I own my home. I'm a young guy. I'm 28. I own my home. I bought it back in the day for like $47,000, and I've been putting some work into it. And I just got it appraised for $115,000.
Good job.
Thank you. I'm trying to put myself through college, and I'm planning on going to medical school. And I don't know if that'll be in state, out of state. And I have a 2-year-old too. So I'm just trying to decide if I should sell my house in Westland, move to somewhere with nicer schools, and kind of hope that I get into a Michigan medical school and pocket the equity and, you know, have that money for a good down payment, even though the market's high. It's kind of a confusing scenario.
Yeah, what's your time factor on applying to medical school?
I'm applying in 2020 for acceptance in 2021.
Okay, so you have 3 years to do that. So so basically right now you don't, you know, when you apply to medical school, you're going to cast, I'm hoping you're going to cast a wide net, and it's kind of like being drafted in the major leagues.
Right.
You're going to go to the school that takes you, right? And if you have options, you have more than one option, then you're going to weigh your options, but right now you're looking to get in.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can't tell you, and Kevin and Jessica, Harvey and John can't tell you what the market's going to be like in 3 years.
Yeah,
You know?
that's what I'm thinking too.
So, right. So we don't know what the market's going to be in 3 years. I would suggest that you let them do a market analysis right now for you. And, you know, you might have to say, you know, are you going to take the money now? Are you going to wait? Are you going to chance it next year, the year after? We don't know what that market's going to be. You have a nice nest egg built up in your home. You're going to need the money for medical school. I mean, I want you to get in because I could taste it for you. But it costs a lot of money to do that. And, you know, you don't know where you're going to be. So this is a short-term proposition. You're not going to be in that house forever.
Right, but the other thing you got to take a look at is, Ryan, is, you know, what are your expenses going to be when you start going to medical school? You know, do you want to really upgrade a house and have higher housing expenses when you're taking on all that debt for medical school? You know, it's just, you know, kind of, you know, absolutely, I would, you know, say, you know, talk to Kevin and Jessica about, you know, what it might be, you know, worth to sell it, but then also take a look at what your finances are going to be come medical school time so that you're being put in the right position.
Right. Ryan, I was just going to say the same thing, which is, you know, I'm going to call you after the show. And what I'd like to do is go through that with you, because it's not just as simple as saying, hey, let's grab all your cash and run.
Yep.
There's a much broader scenario to that. And what we want to do is we want to make sure we advise you for the life of your, you know, of your home ownership. So, you know, when you've made a great first move, which you have, you've made a great first move in purchasing a home that's now massively appreciated. What we don't want to do is make a decision that could take that in reverse.
Right.
And so we want to, you know, when you start out well, we want to keep you going on that path to success.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't always mean doing something now. That may mean waiting. We want to go through it.
And there's more to your story too. I mean, what's your short-term plan for now, between now and 3 years, and what are your expenses? And then 3 years from now, when you apply and you know, God willing, you get in, then what does your scenario look like then? So you got to map this out. That's you know, there are a lot of things that you have to consider in your situation, but you're on a great track because there's equity in the property.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call, Ryan. Hey, man, we're going to definitely follow up with you. We'll give you some more information again. And he's right in that price range, too, Kevin, where it's going to be a start. It's a great starter home now for sale, and it's even a better one maybe a year or two or even 3 years from now. I think he's going to be in a good position. If he had to move, he's going to be able to sell and take his money. And if he ends up staying here, it's great. Like John said, it's going to be very affordable.
He's in a win-win situation. There's really not a bad scenario that he can do. It's just a matter of let's look at the big picture and figure out what's the best way to get him in a long-term situation.
Do the right thing for him and his family.
Exactly.
We take all your calls. Again, 248-539-9797. It's general when there's weak economy data out there, like we had a little bit towards the end of the week this year with the stock market had some changes, and the bond prices usually dictate where the interest rates are going in the mortgage world. We got a little break here. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about mortgage rates still at these all-time lows and a whole lot more. Keep it here, 248-539-9797.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All right, welcome back to the show, 9:48. We're coming up on our last segment here. If you want to talk mortgages and real estate, we have open lines. 248-539-9797. Always a Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. That's 1-800-569-7283. Always here to help you get a house. Again, we're going to have sports here all day on 97.1 The Ticket. First, a little bit of handling your business at home and making sure you're doing the right thing. We've spoken all morning about some great opportunities out there, but really the vibe has been in Southeast Michigan since about 2008 or 9 that the values have just tremendously gone up. We have a lack of great housing around here. The builders are starting to catch up with it. But again, even the stats out there, HUD came out last week with their stats for February. I mean, the housing starts were a little bit off. The weather across the country was a little bit rougher, so that might have played a little bit of a role in it. But we do see a lot of permits. Definitely starting to heat up around here.
Dude, so 6 years ago, I played golf in a short sleeve shirt. It was like 75 degrees.
Oh,
I'm
on this
dead
day
serious.
a few years ago. Yeah, we get that.
Today's St. Patrick's Day, and I remember St. Patrick's Days in the past where, I mean, it was 75 degrees
Remember at
outside.
Michigan State, you really walk around like in shorts and a T-shirt. It was awesome.
I mean, we could still do that even if it was 20
Drink
degrees.
enough, you can do that today too, Alex.
Shut up, Ryan.
Hey, Brian, I'm glad you're going to join in with this conversation.
Thanks for chiming in for that, buddy.
Hey, Brian, one of the things about reverse mortgages, I know it's a scary thing out there for so many families, and the reverse mortgages from way back in the day are totally different than they are today. They've gone in, they revamped the program, and they make it work for families. And I think one of the things that people think is that once you have this, that you can't sell the house. But you can. You can sell the house after your loved ones maybe go to a nursing home.
It's a regular mortgage. Basically, what you're doing is you're building in equity when you have the product, and then as you age, you are losing a portion of your equity. But it's built in. The longer you live and the longer you stay in the house, it's a non-recourse loan. So I hear it all the time when somebody says, "Well, what happens if I'm underwater?" I go, "Well, then you won. You lived long enough. You lived 20, 25 years based on the actuary tables. You outlived what they thought you were going to. You won the battle. You got to live in that house for an extra
so your heirs wouldn't get any equity.
Radio.com app and listen to 97.1 The Ticket anytime, anywhere.
97.1 The Ticket.
All righty, welcome back. We're in our last segment here. Keep it on 97.1 all day. We got Tiger Baseball coming up at 2:10. Jim and Dan with the call. It's going to be exciting stuff for sure. Of course, we got Pat Caputo coming up with sports right after us. 248-539-9797. We'll take all your calls here on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show.
Pistons won last night.
All right, we got good things. Got the last Red Wing game down at Little Caesars Arena tonight. Get down there if you haven't checked out the arena. The Wings are going to be pushing around the Islanders, hopefully. That'll be good news. And, of course, we got a lot more of real estate here with Kevin Stewart. Kevin, it's some calls to get to. Let's actually go out to Todd in Commerce. Hey, Todd, you're talking about the process of buying a home. You need some advice. Go ahead. Tell me some of your questions.
Yeah, good morning. Hey, we're in the process of closing on a home. We sold our house. In 2 weeks, we're actually closing on our home. It's an older home that was remodeled. We had it inspected. I'm concerned about it's on a well, septic.
Yes.
And talking with my agent, we've gone through the inspection process. My gut is telling me more and more to actually get the well inspected by a certified well inspector. I just wanted to kind of know if we find something. My agent said we can't go back to the seller. What are my legal ramifications if we do find some issues with the well when we're in this late stage of the game with buying this home?
Well, you can definitely fix it. It could be a chlorinating of the well. Sometimes that's one of the problems that comes up on the well. So, again, you said the seller, but you meant the buyer.
Well, we're not attorneys and we don't play them on the radio, so you probably need to seek legal counsel on that. However, if you have it in your contract, I don't know how far you are in, did you have a contingency that if the well wasn't in operation that you could go ahead and cancel a transaction?
No.
Okay, so, I mean, I'd have to read the contract. Again, I would tell you should call a real estate attorney and have them look at the contract. How much earnest money deposit did you put down?
5,000.
So you put down $5,000. In the contract, does it say if you don't perform, you lose the $5,000?
Yes.
Well, that could be an answer. So how much is it going to cost?
There you go.
Yeah, that could be an answer, but not the answer. It could be an answer. How much is it going to cost you to get the well fixed?
Well, he doesn't know yet.
Right.
Right, Todd?
Well, I don't know yet. I just want to get it inspected.
Well, right,
I guess
absolutely.
I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, call the county. I would just call Oakland County.
I would read the contract, and I would show the contract to somebody, and there in there it doesn't say that you're going to get a property inspection, which includes the well. That if it doesn't come out right, you're not going to follow through with the contract. It's got to say that.
Well, he's probably outside the inspection contingency.
Yeah.
So, Todd, first and foremost, get that well inspected just for your own knowledge and benefit. This may be we might not even have to worry about this. So, get that well inspected.
It may be a moot point, sure.
Right, and then reach out to somebody if there is an issue, a real estate attorney at that point, and find out what you can do. Because you're right, it should have been in the contract that the well. You should have had a separate inspection for the well and septic field. And, like Harvey said, you get with the county, make sure that it's set up the right way, but get that inspection done first.
If you listen to the show 3 weeks ago, we had a couple of real estate attorneys on. We could pass their number on for, and they'll be glad to take a look at it for you.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Appreciate that.
You got it. We appreciate the call.
We'll follow up. Actually, I was a little confused on where he was at the buyer, the seller, which process he was in. But definitely at the end of the day, if you're
Sounds
buying
like he's the buyer, Harv.
he's the buyer on that one. And if you're buying a house and there's a well and septic, then yeah, you want to put in there that you get a well and septic test done. I've actually had a delay on a transaction out in Washtenaw County, waiting for the water test to come back this week. So as much as we have a closing set up for Thursday, we are waiting for the county to give us the A-OK.
So do you think the water test is important, Harv?
Oh, very much
Okay.
so. And again, the test we're waiting for is the arsenic test. Last time I checked, that arsenic could be pretty dangerous stuff. And you definitely want to know what you're buying. Hey,
Wow.
Let's move on here. 248-539-9797. Hey, let's go out to Doug in Roseville. Doug, what's going on with your transaction here? Go ahead.
Hello?
Hey,
Hi,
Doug.
Doug.
Go ahead with your question.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got a question, obviously. I'm trying to get out of my house quickly. I don't want to do the old standard sale, just going to the real estate market. I was wondering how these companies are, and if you are one of them that do the advertise buying your house. But obviously one of my biggest concerns is I figure these type of companies, you're not going to come. I don't not worry about maybe the value, but at least paying off the house just to get out.
Well,
get out of it.
I mean, that's
they're trying to steal the house from you. Kevin, let's comment about cash for homes. You see the advertisements on the road.
The handwritten signs on the corner of the roads. Yeah, those are.
That say we buy your house for cash.
Yeah.
Anybody who's doing that is looking to buy your home, maybe put $2 or $3 into it and then sell it for a massive profit. That's what keeps them in business and why they have all that cash. To me, it's borderline predatory. I don't think it's a good thing for you. The truth of the matter is we're in a market where you have the advantage no matter the condition of your home. There is a scenario in which we could probably get you a significantly better price than that. I understand there may be a little bit of hassle, but our job as realtors and our job in our company, we believe in trying to make it easy on you.
Man, I love that answer. Doug, what if we had like Kevin give you a call and make it really easy for you to maximize your profit? Does that sound like something you could consider?
Yeah, I'd consider that because obviously I would like to get the most out of it, but I'm desperate in getting out of where I'm at.
Yeah, the houses are moving quick, Doug. You got the upper hand. So
yeah, Doug, we can solve that for you. Don't let that be your hindrance. Let me come over, have a conversation with you, and show you exactly how I can make this simple on you and very, very, very fast.
Yeah, Doug, Kevin's being very, very kind. Those people want to try to steal your house, okay?
Yeah.
I'll say it. He won't say it. He's too kind. They're trying to steal your house. Don't do it.
Well, like my wife has said, she's talking about, I work down here in Detroit, so I see those little flyers pinned down on the islands there.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously I wouldn't trust those, but I have also seen like some bigger billboards. What I would assume that would be somewhat of a reputable company.
No. That just means they paid more money to go ahead and advertise. That's all that means.
They're paying more money to steal your home.
Yeah, where do you think they got the money? That's where they got the money to do the billboards is they stole a lot of houses.
Let's have Kevin call you, and then he'll walk you through a process, okay?
That sounds good.
You got it, my man.
Thanks
for calling. That's a great call.
It's an awesome call. 248-539-9797. We have some open lines for you. Let's move off to Mark out there in Troy. Hey, Mark, you got a question about your driveway. Go ahead.
Hi, yeah, I have a question for you. By the way, I love your show. I listen to it every Saturday
Appreciate
on the
that.
way to work.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. You were talking about the with home improvements. Do you feel that it's worth a home improvement, like having a driveway poured if it's cracked up and stuff?
How bad is it?
I've gotten estimates from like $5,000 up to $8,000 to have it done, and I had it done with that leveler stuff, and
Yeah.
it was about $1,700, and it lasted about a year and a half.
I'd like to hear that lasted a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Kevin,
How long do you plan on staying in the house?
I'm planning on staying there a while. I've been there since '02, and it's worth $350, and I only owe like $100 on it.
Oh, well, all day long.
Yeah, if you plan on staying there a long time, go ahead
Do
and redo your driveway. Get the best price you can, redo the driveway. It's not going to add value to your house because houses need driveways, especially in that price point. People expect a driveway. So it's not money you're going to get direct back, but if you're going to stay there for a while, do it right.
Do it for yourself.
Don't keep spending the money just to have to redo that again and again and again. Just get a new driveway.
Yeah, pour the concrete.
You are exactly the scenario I was talking about with myself. You've been in that house for so long. You $350, you only owe $100 something. Let's take a look if we can cut down that term on your loan. Maybe pull $5,000 out to help you pay for that driveway if you need it, and then also
lower the payment.
I mean, and cut down the term of the loan.
I don't know if I really want to do that because I'm fixed and locked at 3.2.
Oh yeah, that's
like
a good
it.
rate. That's a good rate.
I
Yeah.
like that rate.
So yeah, we'll just take a look at everything and try to advise you the right way, even if we can't do anything for you.
Hey, Mark, do you think that your driveway is as bad as the driveway at our office?
Oh, good Lord. I'm afraid to have a small child fall into one of those craters.
Oh, boy.
We're going to be calling the concrete
We're
company.
very well aware of bad driveways.
Kevin, that Tom Petty music says it's the end of our show here. We really appreciate you coming on. Of course, Kevin Stewart, the Stewart Team Real Estate Partners out there in Rochester. Jessica Zilke always comes in to share the morning with us. So we appreciate you both for coming in.
Guys
Get
are
you guys
great.
back on always. Talk about some great professional realtors. You got to get in touch with these guys. And, of course, call
They do it the
Capital
right
Mortgage
way.
Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Get that approval letter. We've got tons coming up here. Keep it on 97.1. Pat Caputo coming up with sports and social commentary. We'll be here next Saturday. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.